All right, we're going to call this meeting to order. It's
6:32.
6:32. All right, let me put that down, 6:32. As a public meeting, it's posted in accordance with the provisions of MGL Chapter 30A, Section 20B. It's being videoed with Area 58. This is the meeting room number 4. We would like to welcome Susan. This is our newest member. He was sworn in rather rapidly upstairs because they have such a heavy agenda. This is James Element. I'm terrible on names,
That's
so
okay.
Just forgive me. All right, let's go to number 3. The consultant for hire, and it would be nice if I had given him an agenda, which I didn't. Could you just follow along?
I'll be fine for you.
Fine, you'll be fine. Thank you. All right.
Let's do it on my
This particular item was a consultant for hire. We posted it on the front page of our website. We were asking resumes to be submitted before October 31st. 2023, we did get a return. However, at this point in time, I'm not ready to talk about it. I think the best thing we need to do is put it to the next month meeting where we could better understand what we would be doing. You're new. We would like to have an opportunity to talk to you about this, and we could do that next month.
I think that when for our next meeting, when the agenda is written to be posted, that we should put the names of any any people who have responded to our advertisement.
All right. Okay, let me put
and include that in the agenda.
All right.
Much the same way the select board included Jim's name tonight.
I did. Yep. Okay.
So we should do that, and then just table this for the one meeting, because we're right now we're not in a situation where we need the consultant right away.
Correct. All right, we can take care of that. All right, moving to number 4 is the Route 44 filing of the subdivision plan. Our September meeting, when 44 came, we talked, and I made a suggestion openly that, the planning board, maybe it would be a good thing for us to send a letter to the planning board. And I called Kathleen O'Donnell, by the way, we have a lawyer.
Okay.
And I called her and I said to her, I need to follow up on that. I think it's appropriate that I do it. And she said, oh, absolutely, you should do that. So I have a letter here. That I want to send. And I'll pass the letter around so you can see it. I'll start with you real quick. And I actually created a motion for approval as well, and I'll sign it and give it to Tom Bott.
Okay, it's fine with me.
I just got one.
There you go. Take a look at that.
My resume and stuff like that. I haven't looked unless I did it tonight.
And I created that as a motion. Can you make that?
I can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Jim, just to give you a little background, the area that we're talking about is a parcel of land in North Carver that abuts the Plimpton Town Line and the Middleborough Town Line, and also is between Route 44, it's north of Route 44, heading towards Middleborough,
Okay.
and west of Route 58
Okay.
before you get to Plimpton. It's behind Aubuchon,
Okay.
so to speak.
Yep.
And there were multiple lots that, that were purchased by a group called Route 44 Development. They purchased all of the lots, and they had a preliminary subdivision plan that they put forward based on conversations that they had had with Hillwood to put in the distribution center, the 1.8 million square feet. This property is, because of its size, which is a little bit under 300 acres, by state law, under the fact that it is urban renewal, can accept up to 1.8 million square feet, regardless of how it's split up, but that's the max that can go there. So they were going to use the max and put in these two warehouses. Changes in the economy and the kind of slowing down of people utilizing online services to buy things as soon as the pandemic was over. It changed the scope of what a lot of these distribution centers were looking at trying to do. And one of the hardest things that came out after the pandemic was more or less over, but inflation started, was that the Hillwood, along with others, could not find the funding to build projects of this magnitude, this scale. So they were going to build here in Carver. They had another one almost of equal size that they were planning in Middleborough. They were actually farther along with the approval process in Middleborough. They pulled away from that one as well. So Route 44 development, from the time that they made their first subdivision plan till the time that Hillwood pulled out of the deal, Route 44 development had purchased all of the properties they needed to make this one large parcel. So basically what they did back in March was they threw out their original subdivision plan, and they resubmitted a preliminary subdivision plan with all of the properties being made into one large property. So instead of 14 separate lots, they now have one big one. So now what they had presented to us in September and also to the planning board in October was a plan where they've subdivided the 300 acres into 4 lots, 3 of them relatively small, and the 4th one very large. And their thinking behind that is that they frankly need to start earning some money from this property. They've spent a lot of money developing it. So by having these smaller lots closer to the road, these are things that they can probably get someone to come in.
Yeah, you can phase the whole site, and they can just put different pieces.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's where we were. They got, I believe, planning board approval. I'm not 100% sure of that. I think they did. We got the presentation from Route 44, and we've been working with them very closely for the last 5-6 years,
Yeah.
easily. That's kind of the background of where that is now. And I think that planning proves their new subdivision, which I believe they did, that locks in those zoning bylaw changes for the next 8 years. I think that Route 44 has a couple of potential tenants that really won't be needing the bylaws that were changed, but those potential tenants are looking at the smaller lots.
Okay.
So there's still a possibility if things in the economy change and something else changes where there's a huge building that that would go back in there, then these 65-foot and the height of street lamps and the corner radiuses of turns are still part of our bylaws, so they have that flexibility to do what they want moving forward. So that's a little background on where we are. That's, as I said earlier, that's our biggest project space that we are involved in.
Okay.
All right?
So far. And
So far.
And to add to what Savory just said, I got an email from Tom Bott, our town planner, and he said they were going to have a meeting with the planning board, I think on the 17th.
Okay.
So this letter will just kind of be ahead of it, just to let them know. The planning board consistently kept pushing back, you know, and so they talked, they wanted to do what, DHCD, and they were kind of shuffling back and forth and didn't want to give them any
The planning board was
satisfaction.
looking for more answers as to what was going to go there than was actually needed for a preliminary subdivision plan. You know, there's still all of the reviews that have to happen within the town with all of the emergency services, things like that. You know, all of that still has to happen, and that's where those questions are answered, when there's a physical plan. Right now, it's a subdivision. This is how we want to divide up the land, and all that's required of a preliminary subdivision plan is a layout of the street and the infrastructure in the street. So anything else that's exterior to that is not required at this time, although the planning board seemed to be asking a lot of questions about what was going there when the answer was, we don't know.
Yeah, right.
We don't really know what they're gonna build yet anyway.
That's right.
No.
So that's why it's all conceptual and
Yeah.
we figure
Right,
it out from there.
exactly. Now, just to enlighten you, that this camera here is photographing us for the video for our meeting, but the planning board meeting as well is being videoed as well. So if you have any spare time, and you want to turn on Area 58 /
It's,
Carver,
yeah.
Area 58 / Carver, and then it'll bring up all the various departments. You could see some of, like, the meeting he's talking about that we had in September.
Yeah, I'm sure I could find some time.
You
I
could
can take a
find
look at a
some
few of
time
them.
to look at that, to review that. I mean, I could give you, you could get the minutes, they're all been approved, they're on our website. If you go to carverma.gov and just go to the committee and select us, Carver Redevelopment, all of those, on the right-hand side, you could select the agendas and you see the minutes that have been approved, even the ones we're talking about.
Okay.
So that kind of enlighten you. If you, hopefully you'll have the time.
I'm sure I can figure it out. I'll do some homework. don't worry.
Okay, great. So
just
we
gonna
can
show
go, we'll go forward, you all approve this letter. I need a motion, so I
All right, I move to authorize the chair to sign this letter to the planning board, which confirms the vote taken at the September 5th meeting with Route 44 Development LLC.
Okay, second?
Excuse me, I need a vote. Can I call for a vote?
Savory Moore says aye.
Pat Maha, aye.
Aye.
And Joanna Layton.
I think Jim has to abstain because he was not here at the September 5th meeting.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, so just,
my first mistake.
That's okay.
If you like the
if I didn't say something, someone else would.
Yeah, we have a lot of eyes watching us.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I just want to, so that's 301.
Okay.
May I have a copy of that motion, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, here we go. Do you want, should we put a copy of that letter in the...
Yeah,
I need to take it at home. How, if I give it to her, I won't
I'm
have
gonna
it.
do it right now, and.
You'll do it
What-
right
What
now?
is that?
That's
This is
the
the
letter.
letter.
That's the letter.
Oh, do you want it in?
it should be part of
It
the,
should be part of the
The notes.
minutes.
Well,
But I only have this
you-
as a
you can-
copy.
you can.
If I give it to her, I won't get it back.
I'll take a photograph of it. And then
Okay.
we can check it.
With your camera?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. All right, next on our agenda is Wade Street. We've been talking about it for a long time. The last time we were talking about it, we asked you about getting an invoice from Art Borden. You didn't get one yet.
I've got nothing.
You were going to work with Art about the bounds, the stone bounds.
yeah, I was, I haven't.
That's fine. we can keep talking about Wade Street.
But at the same time, if I get an invoice, I'm not paying it until it comes back to the committee.
That's
Right.
true.
For everyone
Right.
to say, okay, you can pay that now.
That's true.
Yeah,
Okay.
except for, like Susan, which,
Right, now
that just goes because we've already agreed to that.
So I'm going to let Savory talk. Savory, he does a very good job. He can enlighten you on Wade Street.
Wade Street is a street that's very, very near the airport. It's the last left-hand turn on South Meadow Road before you get to the airport. It's
Okay.
back in, there's a development there called Vaughan Estates. That's probably about 40 or 50, more than that, maybe homes.
Oh, there's 107.
107, okay.
107. 1 acre alone. Every house has at least 1 acre. This is quite
And there was a lot of about approximately 7 acres, right? Six and a half.
6.0 something, right?
6.5 acres.
Right.
That is at the far end of Wade Street. That was, primarily it was their stump dump when they
Yeah.
were building Vaughan Estates. So that land lay empty and eventually found its way into the hands of the select board. And they weren't going to do anything with it, so they gave it to the
Redevelopment.
Redevelopment Authority 15 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, right.
About 15 years ago, they gave it to us for us to do something with it. In the meantime, it has sort of become a popular forested area with walking trails for people in Vaughan Estates. So we, the Redevelopment Authority, decided to transfer the land to the Conservation Commission so that it would be conservation land in perpetuity. And the RDA has voted to do that. The Conservation Commission, on which I'm also on, has voted to accept it. The abutter to the property had some encroachments onto property they didn't own. They had a barn, which they've already moved for us, but there are a number of other smaller items. There's a chain link fence corner, and there is an electrical conduit that runs to where the barn used to be, and it's still a live wire. All these are, the conservation can't accept the property in that state. Well, we can accept it, but these things have to be fixed. So we're just waiting for me to contact the landowner and just make sure that they're going to do the 3 things that we need them to do. And then the property will be, we have our legal counsel already has the deed ready to go.
Right, and she has this the other thing that she's going to do is, originally there was a vote by the select board. For some reason, it kind of got down under, I guess, I don't know better to call it. When I went back and did some research, I found out that the select board had voted they wanted to sell that property. And of course, I appeared there and they told them that, the RDA owned it. They didn't realize that. But they took a vote and they didn't want to rescind the vote when I went with the chairperson at the time. They didn't want to rescind it. They wanted to make sure that we passed it to conservation. And when we did that, they were going to be satisfied. Well, our lawyer said we don't have to approach them about rescinding anything. She had an 81X form that she's going to present to us at the time, along with the deed. And that form says, I, the chairperson, have forwarding to the conservation. Conservation signs as being accepting, and the select board would sign also to accept that transfer. So that would make that a done deal, so to speak.
Okay.
So we're all set there.
Right, the select board had voted to take the land back, but never went to the registry to change it. So
Right, yeah.
the ownership was still the RDA. And that's where we stand. So it was and the select board didn't want it anymore, so
So the RDA had the whole entire area surveyed, the Concom, because they would not accept it unless it was surveyed.
Right, well, we needed to find out where the encroachments were precisely.
Exactly. And we actually paid extra for stone bounds also. And so I don't have the thing with me today. I have one printout of that.
Right.
And I'm sure it'll have to be submitted to the registry when all that
Yes.
stone bounds and everything?
Yeah, well-
Okay, fine. So that's, we
Kathleen
have
will do
little
that.
pieces here and there to finish up on it, so
I'll get that done.
we're still holding it. All right, so that's that. Let's talk about the treasurer's report.
Okay?
Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody got a copy of it. Jim,
Yep.
you'll be on the distribution list from
Okay.
this point forward. Once a month, I reconcile the bank accounts, and under our regular checking account, we got $553.99. Under our money market savings account, we have $59,143.43. The Hillwood account remains at zero, and the balance in the urban renewal plan account is $1280.46.
Very good.
Not much activity lately. And that's the scope of things there.
So,
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the budget report as submitted.
a second. Vote, please. Should I ask for the vote, right?
All right, Savory Moore says aye.
Aye.
You have to abstain.
I
Joanna
abstain,
Layton says
yes.
aye.
No, Jim doesn't have to abstain now.
Not on the budget.
Well, you don't have to do that. He doesn't vote?
No, he can vote.
He
Oh,
can
he
go.
can vote on the
That's
budget?
new.
Because it's right here. You
It's
better
correct.
have him
It's
put his eyes on it.
This is what I do every,
Keep him honest.
Put his eyes on
I
it.
guess I can only do it for 6 more months, so that's what it is.
So Jim, after you put your eyes on it, just give us your vote.
I'll say yes.
Okay, great. Joanna Layton says yes. All right, the next one is topics not anticipated by the chair 48 hours in advance of the meeting. I don't have anything. Does anybody have anything?
I don't have
really?
anything.
Okay.
Nope.
Member notes, anybody has anything to report on that? I do, really quick. I was given information by Elaine Weston, who is the town of personnel lady, to attend the KP Law came in to talk about open meeting law and to understand what you should and shouldn't do.
KP Law is town council.
Right. Thank you. And his handout was this, which is great, because it's like a quick synopsis. And he also gave us, or I got it later on, and I sent it to these guys, and I gladly sent it to you. It was his presentation, his slideshow. So the next meeting, I'm going to ask Elaine if we can get some of these here,
Okay.
for you. And you all have that presentation. You don't, Jim, but I'll send it to you for sure. I don't know if he's going to come back and do another one of these. I don't know. It was primarily done for the earth removal people. There must be a lot of controversy out there.
Year or two, whatever. I don't know if you've ever dealt with the open meeting law before. It just deals with municipalities and so forth, and it's tedious. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, the next thing, moving right along, number 9, the minutes of the meeting, October 3rd. Has anybody had a chance to read it? I have.
I did.
I just have one change. The consultant for hire submitted to rda.contact@carverma.gov, not .org. And I wasn't getting any response, and I had to go have
Okay.
that corrected. So that's the only change I have, okay? All right, so can we have a vote to approve this meeting minutes, please?
I move that we approve the minutes as amended.
Okay, second.
Second, and call for the vote.
Savory Moore says aye.
Aye.
Jim has to abstain.
Jim has to
I wasn't
abstain.
here.
Jim has to
Yeah.
abstain.
I abstain.
Joanna Layton says aye, or yes. Okay, let's talk about the next meeting.
Well, the first Tuesday in December is the 5th.
Okay, and we'd like to stay with that.
I think so.
I do too, because you people meet on the 6th, don't you?
Yes.
We like to stay within the,
Yeah.
because Savory's on that committee as well.
Yeah,
so-
Conservation meets on the first and third Wednesdays of the month.
So if we have the 5th, is that okay for everybody?
That works for me.
That is, and what time are we talking about?
6:30 an issue?
So you want to do 6:30?
Yeah.
Okay. Jim, what's?
Jim, do you have
Works for
a,
me.
how's
no
that work
problem?
with you?
Nope, it's fine.
I'm gonna try to get a hold of Roger and see if, because he said he had 2 more, it's a new job and he's got some kind of training he has to go through, so I'll talk to him. Well, being an elected official rather than an appointed official, you don't have to come to the meetings if you don't want to. But anyway, let's, all right, so we
Okay,
have a
December 5th.
meeting, so it's RDA 6:30 on the 5th.
Okay.
So good. All right, let's adjourn right at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Let's close the meeting. I need a vote for that.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
So moved.
Vote.
Vote, please.
Savory Moore says aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Aye.
Joanna said aye. 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, okay.
Okay, good.